Alright, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're doing pretty well. I'm doing okay myself. I hope you've also been enjoying listening to some of the Half-Life 2 songs. Last stream, I thought was kinda shit. I'm gonna be honest. Things were just going wrong all over the place. And already I'm seeing some of it kinda leaked out here. We're gonna be playing Lost Coast and then episode 1, because Lost Coast is the cut level from episode 2. That was like the weird showcase thing they did. Then they never really did it again. That was like the only instance that Valve did this. So I figured I should show it first, and I figure it's a good time as any, because believe it or not, Valve opened their own Twitter account. They opened an official Twitter account, and they were like, we cannot wait to share our new Half-Life game with you, which was the Half-Life VR thing. It's called Half-Life Alyx. I'm just glad Half-Life is coming back in some way, shape, or form. Although it's a VR game, I'm just disappointed I won't be able to afford a VR headset sooner, because I don't have a freaking quote-unquote real job right now. It's like, I quit my other job. I had to get out of there. But that's a different story. No better time as any to be streaming some Half-Life stuff now. As I said before, last stream sucked. At least in my opinion. So today I want to rectify that. So I'm just gonna boot up Lost Coast here, and then maybe, if it can load, thank you. Because the freaking last time it was all quiet, and I didn't have nobody to tell me. But that's what comes with this. So I know they did commentaries for their other games later. They implemented that. But I think this was the first instance of it, because it's a really weird thing. It's the first and only instance of it, even, as I keep saying. I'm sounding like a broken record sometimes, I know, I'm sorry. So, we'll start a new game. And this doesn't take long at all. This demo's like 20 minutes. 20 minutes, like, with probably even less. But, yeah, they do give you the option for... I'm just gonna... There. It's all good on this end. It sure is. So I'm doing commentary on because that's basically the whole point of this thing. They wanted to do like this weird Half-Life tech demo, and of course, now we get all our weapons. We have our gravity gun, we have our crowbar, we've got our pistol. Right, I have fast weapon switch on because I'm a lazy noob. So yeah, they wanted to just showcase a tech demo of a cut level. I think this was supposed to take place between the highway and the sand trap level with the antlions. It's a lot, but for like a cut level, there's like a lot polished. There's like the new character. I should be doing more stuff like this. It's weird because I mean, this isn't exactly prototype level. Well, kind of. We can kind of, before we really get into it, let's just explore what's like over here. like broken hulls, hull of a boat. I can't pick this up. I can boot it though. Some extra ammo. I don't think I went back here last time. There's a node here?
The remains of the ship in front of you were once part of a puzzle we cut out of the Lost Coast. The original design of the puzzle was based on the idea of the player and the fisherman cooperating together to solve something. This was the type of puzzle we'd always wanted to attempt in Half-Life 2. Unfortunately, as development on Lost Coast neared the end, and this puzzle still wasn't finished, we decided to cut it. It's always painful to remove work, so we've tried to evolve a process for making those kinds of decisions. For example, with this puzzle we asked ourselves, is this puzzle actually fun? If not, how much work does it need to be fun? Does this puzzle fit within the purpose of Lost Coast? Would our customers appreciate this puzzle being finished more than they would appreciate, say, soldiers rappelling off the cliffside? In the end, it made more sense to put this problem on the shelf with other interesting ideas and come back to it later.
Okay, neat. So that's why this is back here. Yeah, sometimes when you, like, look at... And this is like an official thing they release. It's super weird. I kind of wish they, like, did more things like this, but it never really caught on, I don't think. So neat. That's like a weird puzzle they were supposed to do. The textures are... I saw a reflection of a leech. Which means that... Yeah, or is that a... No, that's a seagull. Seagulls are, like, surprisingly detailed in this. I'm getting, like, too off the beaten path. I just wanted to see if... no. I guess the problem occurs only after I hit the node. So I don't know, maybe I was supposed to go after that node later. Let's listen to... Actually, as I check this, I'm also going to, like... Well, listen to good old Gaben. Because I just want to check the stream audio for a little bit.
Hi, this is Gabe Newell, and welcome to the Lost Coast. In this tour, we're going to be talking about a new graphics technology we've been developing called High Dynamic Range, or HDR. We'll also be giving you some insight into the design and production challenges we faced during the construction of the Lost Coast. First, a quick explanation of the commentary system. To listen to a commentary node, put your crosshair over the floating commentary symbol and press your use key. To stop the commentary, put your crosshair over the rotating node and press your use key again. Some commentary nodes may take control of the game for the purpose of showing something to you. In these cases, simply pressing your use key will stop the commentary.
Alrighty then, Mr. Gabe. I think the audio should be a little better than last time. Like the little snippet that I heard of it was decent. So I was just checking on my phone there. I'm sorry if it like loops in.
When the art team started to think about a location that would demonstrate the power of HDR, a beach was one of the first choices we made. The visual relationship between the sky, the water, and the rocks is something we could not achieve without HDR. In order for high dynamic range to correctly simulate the light's interaction with the surfaces around you, like these wet rocks, we needed more precise information about the surfaces than we've had in the past. And now going forward, we're modeling textures in 3D packages to ensure that the physical information encoded in the texture allows HDR to correctly bounce light off the surface. We also designed the colors and values of each surface to ensure they will be correct across all exposure levels.
Yes. Wet rocks. So this whole thing was just to showcase like all of the things that the lighting can do. You can even see this. I think I turned this on purpose. Like, holy bloom, Batman. More bloom than Wind Waker HD.
With conventional rendering, seen here on the left, if something on the screen is 20% reflective, like the wet sand, then the maximum reflected brightness can only be 20% of the maximum brightness of your monitor. HDR's more accurate simulation of light ensures that the sun's reflection on this wet sand appears as it would in the real world, which could potentially use 100% of the maximum monitor brightness. HDR uses bloom to simulate light that is beyond 100% of a monitor's maximum brightness.
Interesting. So I'm just basically just admiring some of this stuff, going through the nodes. That's just basically the intention of this. It's like it's basically you're supposed to go through it like that.
The process of building characters in Half-Life 2 taught us many things. By the end, we believed we'd figured out a more effective process for designing and constructing characters. This fisherman is the first character we built using that process. Design-wise, the fisherman was focused on showcasing HDR and the way light falls on human skin. The highlights on his forehead and nose are good examples of specularity on human skin. You can see how the wrinkles on his cheeks and around his eyes are an example of how we can use normal maps to add depth. Production-wise, the fisherman was built using a similar process to the rocks you saw on the beach. We model the 3D character at a very high detail, then extract much of the physical information and store it in the textures.
Hey, you there?
Yes,
Wait a minute now, aren't you?
your whole body
You
was
are.
like frozen.
Well, that scientist chap, Friedman, Fishman, am I right? You must be here to take on the
I
Combine.
think my name's Fishman because
Sure,
you're a
what man can
fisherman.
do?
Shut up.
No other reason to visit St. Olga at a time like this. I'll take you to where they made their base, or as far as I can, at any rate.
I didn't like how his face was like moving and his whole body was like stiff in that moment. It's weird, man. Creepy.
Water presents us with a lot of rendering challenges. In fact, we have to render
And
the
this
scene
is
3
what causes
times.
it,
Once for
I
the
think.
refraction of what's under the water, once for the reflection of everything above the water, and once from the player's view. You can see the reflection and refraction scenes in the 2 small windows on screen. In the refraction, we calculate per pixel how much water you're looking through to do a volumetric underwater fog to simulate particulate matter. For our full HDR solution, we had to go through the entire engine and modify every bit of code that calculated light and color. For example, these water reflection and refraction renderings had to be improved to support the full range of contrast values.
Here,
All right.
let me just unlock this gate for you. I've got the key right here. There we go. Get along now, laddie.
I have your
Destroy that
harpoon now.
gun and no dawdling.
Lame. I catch a fish with this?
If you make it back safely, I'll be here waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some of these batteries too.
There's a path up the cliff. Step lightly now.
It's like, oh, leeches. That's like immediate.
Get going.
Yeah, screw off. I'm demonstrating something. Oh wait, it's not happening. Okay, I guess I fixed it
lad,
unintentionally.
get up the
Shut
path.
up. You frickin' want one?
Get along
Don't
now.
tell me what to do.
Destroy that giant and no dawdling.
I gave you one, don't make me give you another. Alright. So now we gotta go up the cliffside. Well, actually, at first the stairs, then the cliffside. Oh, jeez. Gun's loud. It might be too loud now. And then this dude, I didn't even pay attention to that. I was trying to see if the grenade was like in my way. Terrible at this sometimes. I'll put this a little lower. And hopefully it's still audible. It's like that the SMG is like probably one of the loudest things in Half-Life 2. Like, jeez. Freaking jerk. Oh wait, I got him.
The area you're currently entering is called the Cliffside Arena. We were particularly happy with the vertical cliffside in Half-Life 1 and regretted that we didn't iterate further on that concept in Half-Life 2. Vertical space allows us to force the player to deal with threats from above and below. We find that players focus their view on the direction they're traveling, so by using a cliffside and having the player ascend it, we ensure that the player will look up and be prepared for enemies. If the player's path was to move past the bottom of the cliffside, it would be unlikely he would notice soldiers rappelling down from above. And dying from unknown threats never feels fair and certainly isn't fun.
Alright, neat stuff. I really need to stay focused on what's coming up from above me. I'm gonna need more shotgun shells soon, but you know, I don't really care that much. Voice crack. He can't even reach me with his shotgun from there. There's a gift for you. That worked.
One of the features of our HDR solution is dynamic tone mapping. The easiest way to think about dynamic tone mapping is that it's a method of simulating the way the human eye reacts to light. In the real world, you've probably walked into a dark room and noticed your eye adjusting to the darkness, letting you see better after some time. Or you've walked out into a bright day and been blinded by the sun, only to have your eye adjust and allow you to see normally. Your iris is adjusting itself in response to the amount of light hitting your eye. Dynamic tone mapping simulates this by automatically adjusting
This is
the exposure of
witchcraft.
the scene to mimic the behavior of your iris. You can see this as the view moves from the dark tunnel to the bright sun and back again. Here, you can see the way we calculate the amount of light hitting the player's eyes. We take a snapshot of the scene, measure the brightness levels, and then use that to adjust
I
exposure.
gotta find those diamonds, man. Which level are we on? Sorry.
Screen more important than at the edges to better simulate the geometry of the eye.
And then oh wait, no, never mind. I thought I was gonna be stuck with that. There was some stuff here. Rockets, if I used any, which I didn't. Hear the sounds of the head crab cannon that we need to disable.
The courtyard in front of you is a space we call an arena.
Of
Arenas
course.
are built to hold the player for a period of time, and usually contain combat or some other challenge. They often have multiple entry points for enemies, along with a gate of some kind to prevent the player moving on, until the challenge has been completed. In this case, the arena is free of enemies until the player solves a puzzle and triggers an alarm. This is a method that allows the player to explore the arena and get a sense of its space before being forced to fight in it. It adds a sense of uneasiness to the player who's expecting to be attacked now that they've reached the goal set for them at the start of the map. The break in the action here is also a crucial part of the level's pacing. It allows the player to recover and explore the world a little after being attacked on the way up the cliffside.
See, I think I made the game a little too quiet again. Okay. Hopefully that'll be okay. I'm gonna try to avoid using the SMG a whole lot because it's super freaking loud. Bad demo, man. I can't fall down the well.
The source engine supports a wide variety of shaders. The refraction shader on the window here requires us to copy the scene to a texture, refract it, and then apply it to the window surface. To fully support HDR, every shader in the engine needed to be updated, so this refraction shader was improved to support the full range of contrast. If you viewed the sun through this window, it would be refracted correctly.
Will it now? So if I view the... Okay, so this is supposed to be like correctly refracted sunlight, as he said.
We wanted to transition from a bright, wide-open space into a tighter, closed one to showcase HDR's dynamic tone mapping. We also like to focus on contrasting elements in our settings, like ancient human architecture and futuristic combine technology. A monastery fit these requirements perfectly. Monasteries are generally isolated, unlit, and built ages ago. They provide a great backdrop for the contrasting combine technology. When we build fictional settings, we try to ground them by basing them off a real-world location. We use these locations as a design constraint that forces a logical consistency behind the art choices.
Right. Like... just old mixed with the new, right? Essentially.
Churches are great dramatic spaces. They're often lit naturally with extremes of darkness and brightness, which makes them a great showcase for HDR. Gothic churches are the sober monochromatic spaces that you've seen in almost every horror movie or game. Byzantine churches, on the other hand, are very colorful and have a large variety of materials. We wanted that color and material variety to show off our HDR reflections.
Our games are filled with things we call gates, which are essentially just challenges that the player must overcome to drive the experience forward. We used a puzzle here since the player has been through combat and exploration recently. When we design challenges, we try to ensure that the player's goal and the action required by the player are both fun. It's not hard to create interesting goals for the player, like stopping this machine from shelling the nearby village, but the action required by the player to solve the challenge needs to be fun as well. So instead of something menial, such as hitting an off switch, the player gets to use physics to jam the gun's mechanism and cause it to break.
Which is what we will do right now. Right. Come on now. Right. Get in there. Wait, there we go. I did it. There's a lot of loud stuff. Crabe. Oh wait, one of them got stuck. Never mind, he's free. That one from the left almost got me. kind of enjoyed the noises of the poison head crabs a bit more. Even though it's kind of annoying when they actually latch onto you. He must be detained. He's been reading too many commentary notes. Or listening, rather. So basically, this is when their wide open area just turns right into the arena, I guess. This gun's still very loud, though. All these bodies just piling up. Screw these guys, man. Did you really think you could run from me? Now who's shooting? Oh, they're up here. We're gonna be fighting that chopper later as well. That gate was not supposed to protect you for long.
This marks the end of the Lost Coast tour. This has been an experiment on our part to see if our community would find it interesting to learn more about our development process. As always, we're interested in your feedback. I can be reached at Gaben, G-A-B-E-N,
There it is.
at valvesoftware.com. If people like this, we'll keep producing this kind of content for all of our games going forward. Thanks for listening.
I think that's the sound quip that Gaben comes from. It's just supposed to be Gabe Newell, of course. Sounds like he's saying it as all one word. Just Gabe N, but Gaben. This helicopter out of here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Of course, I can't forget it does that now. There's also too many notifications coming up on my phone. Too many YouTubes, man. I knock this away. That's kind of annoying. Well, not annoying, but, you know. I can break this apart too. That's awesome. It's all very unstable stuff here. A sense of danger, a sense of daring. And then this killed me last time, so I'm hoping it doesn't do that this time around.
You did it, lad.
There we go.
Come on with me to St. Olga. We'll celebrate this victory with a feast. I hope you like leeches. Hey, where you going?
Beaches, man. Oh,
You're getting closer
there it
now,
is.
kid.
I have transcended
I guess you got other things.
perfect.
Nice going, yeah.
Perfect. I've transcended reality. And I got out of a feast of leeches. Okay. So that was Lost Coast. So, yeah, I thought just weird how they showcased this. But now we're gonna boot up episode 1 and play that.